Hello, my name is Lindsay Handy, and this is my EDL854 Building Finance case study. To start off, we will talk about a summary of the case as well as facts. So we are dealing with Briardale Elementary School, which is a school that serves a diverse community. It is also the town's community center for different things such as the regional spelling bee. It serves 600 students, kindergarten through 5th grade, and it has a very low teacher turnover, so teachers are very happy where they are. The school district funds a basic skills curriculum, and that money is placed there by the superintendent. For supplementary curriculum, that is funded by the school level foundation. So every school has their own foundation that they raise money for, and that is how they fund supplementary curriculum such as art and music and things like that. So who are we dealing with? We have Mr. Carl Santos, who's the school principal. We also have Mr. Barley. He's a foundation president for Briardale. We also have Mr. Morley, and he is a foundation president for just another elementary school. And Mr. Barley and Mr. Morley were fraternity brothers back in college, and they kind of have a little like rivalry thing going on. And they're both parents of kids at the respective school. So section 1, continuing on with our summary and facts, what has happened here? So Mr. Barley, a parent of Briardale Elementary, he took the position as the foundation president. He is competitive and motivated to raise money for his school because he wants to raise more than any other neighboring school because of his competitive personality. So Mr. Morley, on the other hand, he is a former fraternity brother of Mr. Barley, and now he is the president of a neighboring school. Mr. Santos, he is the principal who shares the responsibilities of being president with Mr. Barley. Mr. Barley, after becoming president, decided to come up with a raffle for cash event to raise funds for the Briardale Foundation. Because when he was in college, he pretty much did a raffle for cash and raised a significant amount of money. So he knew this was the way to go. So this event was, as explained to him, brought up to the Briardale Foundation and was approved. So he coordinated the event, sold tickets, and thought everything was going well. But at the event, Mr. Barley was escorted to the sheriff's office where he was booked and released because he apparently was breaking the law. He was convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation because of his involvement in the raffle for cash fundraiser. This issue ended up in local news, front page newspapers, and was a real debacle for the town. So what legal and ethical issues are we dealing with here? So the ethical issues we're dealing with is that Mr. Barley, he was given an orientation to the position, which was minimal at best. He was directed to meet with the school site curriculum committee to inform them of his ideas or changes, and he did. But no mention of any law or policy was shared with Mr. Barley when he brought it up to them or in his orientation at all. It was approved by the committee, which was his only direction to do before he sprung with something new. And another ethical issue is there's really no oversight from anyone on the school side, the principal, the treasury, anybody. It's just parents, so we can't really expect parents to know it all. The legal issues here is that the foundation was involved in an illegal fundraising event, and it broke the law, Raffle Amendment SCR 1618. This raffle needed to be licensed and regulated by the Office of Charitable Gaming in order for it to be legal, and it was not. So what has happened here? So a current Briardale Foundation president, Mr. Barley, planned a fundraising event in an attempt to acquire funds for the school's supplementary programs by having a raffle for cash event, which led to his arrest, conviction of a misdemeanor, and probation. So what are the facts here? The people we're dealing with is Mr. Santos, the principal, Mr. Barley, the president of the Foundation of Briardale, community members, students, teachers, sheriff, the curriculum committee, and of course the tipster who tipped off the authorities that this raffle for cash event was going on. The place that we're dealing with is Briardale Elementary, and like I mentioned before, it serves 600 students, kindergarten through 5th grade, very diverse community, low teacher turnover, and it houses community events. And for program, the school funds a basic skills curriculum. The supplementary curriculum are funded by the foundation, and the foundation runs yearly fundraisers to acquire the funds for these things. So the fundraisers are actually doing a really great thing, raising money for our supplementary programs. So to review and prioritize, this situation can be very damaging to both the stakeholders and the community. The principal could get backlash for this event being tied to the school. Mr. Barley now has a criminal record because of this event, whether he knew he was breaking the law or not. Community members who were planning to contribute to this event are now involved in the illegal activity as well. And the school district could even receive backlash for this event. Community members are not going to want to be involved with any more things from the school district in worry that they could potentially be breaking the law or doing this or doing that. The community members are putting trust in the school district, in the school, just trusting that they know what they're doing, and to get this information is not good. Some things I would like to know are, number one, was Mr. Barley informed of the rules about this type of raffle? I know it said he did it in the past, but we don't really know what real information he knew about these type of raffles before engaging in one. I also want to know who specifically on the foundation did Mr. Barley propose the raffle idea to? Is it their job to then look into the idea before just approving it? We just kind of need to see where was the ball dropped so that we can fix the problem. And finally, is there anyone who should have been consulted that wasn't per the foundation's policies? If there was, then we know that the issue is with Mr. Barley and we need to go straight to him and say, hey, you skipped this step and now look where we are. If there wasn't, then it's clearly a foundation issue where we need to create more policies to kind of safeguard these situations. So section 6, we have to look at the options and possible outcomes. Option 1, we can absolutely do nothing. We can take no action, do nothing to address the situation. Just let Mr. Barley take his consequence and move on and just start planning the next fundraiser. Or we can go to the completely other side and do away with the foundation completely. We can share with the community members that per a legal issue, they will no longer be a school-based foundation that raises money for these curriculum, and a new district level foundation will be created at a later date. But until then, we're not doing any fundraising. Or option 3, we can first publicly apologize to the community and school and sheriff, admitting fault for the oversight. We can then create a policy handbook that specifically outlines the rules and regulations for fundraising money through the Briardale Foundation. But fundraising is still on hold until then. Excuse me. Based on these options, there are pros and cons for each. The pro for option 1 is that we can quickly just move on to the next fundraiser. There'll be nothing to do on the school's part. The foundation of the school assumes no responsibility. We just kind of pretend it never happened and moved on. The con is, we can have a sour taste from the community, backlash to the school and or district, a lot of things for just turning a blind eye. Option 2, a pro, is that, there's no foundation anymore, so there's no more chance of issues. If fundraising and funds are held at the district level, there's no need for the school to create any policies on their part. The con is that there's going to be less decision making on purchases. There's no more foundation. It doesn't exist anymore. And the foundation is doing a great thing. So it'd be sad to get rid of it just because of a minor setback. Or we have option 3. The pro there is we're taking ownership, which creates trust. We're creating a specific handbook and policy that will allow for less confusion and hopefully no more legal issues. The con is, sure, it's going to be time consuming. It's going to be a lot of work. And I don't believe there should be any fundraising until everything is set in stone. So based on these options, I chose option 3 as the best option. The reason why is because choosing to ignore the situation might allow for the situation to pass, everything to blow over, but it's not going to fix the issues that may arise in the future. Similarly, closing the foundation altogether takes away the positive aspects that come along with it, such as flexibility with the amount of money raised and used, as well as the choice of what supplementary curriculum we want to purchase. Option 3, while it requires some authentic planning, creating, and implementing, it will also allow the school to keep the foundation that does such a good job for the school, and it will ensure that policies are created that keep all stakeholders, students, and schools safe. So this kind of seems like a big undertaking. So there are steps that need to be implemented. One, the principal needs to really publicly apologize to stakeholders, community members, and assume responsibility. While the foundation is really ran by the president, ultimately the principal is the leader of the school and should have a big say in what goes on, and therefore needs to be able to take responsibility if something goes haywire. The principal should then create a guide that specifically describes rules, policies, and regulations in regards to fundraising. This handbook will need to be reviewed and signed by all members of the foundation at the beginning of the year before any fundraising is done. The principal should meet with the current foundation members to discuss these changes. The principal should assume responsibility for overseeing all fundraising events, in the sense they must be approved by the principal before going live. If we have one person designated to the approval process, there's going to be a lot less room for error. The approval process must go through the foundation president to the principal. So directly, the foundation members could help plan the events, but the event has to be essentially created, put together in an organized way, brought to the principal. The principal approves it to the president, and the president could then take that information back to the team and make it go live. The principal must be aware of all rules and regulations in regards to the finances of the school and implement them effectively. If a policy is broken, the school principal will then be required to remove the foundation president from office. So that's taking a lot of the pressure and putting it on the principal, but then the principal putting it back on the president and saying, hey, if someone in your team breaks the rules, this is going to come down on you. So it gives everybody a little bit of stake in the matter so that we put our best foot forward to make sure things like this don't happen. Thank you.